Quiet future. Frantic fiasco. Gear and John frantically raced toward Mag City's large livestock gate. The stampeding buffalo decimated the troops. In shock, the twain fled, bypassing the slow rabblers making for the shipyard. Few thought to leave through the skid row by way of the Longhorn Boulevard. The masses, fearing enslavement, death, or worse by Renfrey's vanguard, fled in an inexpedient manner to Mag City's fish wharf, just as a great imperilment was spied by a scout that would dwarf the battle on the gate's other side. Captains and crew in the wharf pulled anchor just as the mother of armadas came into view. This new peril caused another frenzied response. Crazed crowds pushed through each other as a crowded piers swayed and buckled as captain and crew fought off scared parents who delayed departure. As in the pell-mell, their thought-stricken kids never stayed put. Into the lake many fell, as once sane men went lunatic, straitjacket, wrapped up by the spell of reason-subverting panic. Seen from far, the city were smoke plumes, roiling skyward, dark and thick. Clearly, Megnopolis outbroke in war, the looming armada witnessed. Unable to choke back his tears, Lama Ashoka ibn Harun al-Rashid cried out with Khalifa Fatima al-Saladin, both now beside themselves with grief at the burning of Megnopolis. There inside its walls, a center of learning, culture, burgeoning science tech. The deep blue waters start churning round their ship as all hands on deck race to the wharf, causing foment to those escaping, with the wreck of more than one ship. Such torment they suffered, thinking the great fleet carried more berserker troops sent by Renfrey they'd not stay to greet. Both Ashoka and Fatima were horrified. They were to meet for advent of Prophet Isa in a joyous celebration. Ever-virgin Mustafa, greatly revered by their nation, the Al-Fatimid Caliphate, was the great binding occasion for this pilgrimage with the great city. They were set to exchange ideas and collaborate on the Ark. The great interchange would last through the season of Lent. Then they'd caravan to the range of Guadalupe, the turbulent land of vice crops, in entourage with bishop and king. Wonderment they'd be, like a desert mirage. Their visit was to be a surprise gift to the people. Now triage was needed. They would mobilize infirmaries when they reached dock. Right now, they had to advertise they came in peace. The green shamrock flag was raised on each ship's flagmast in hopes of stemming the sheer shock of a ship fleet approaching fast, flying foreign flags. Allahu al-Salam, they proclaimed. The vast majority held the same view. God is peace. But they could not read Arabic, so the shamrock flew, a peace sign everyone could read. And Ashoka and Fatima greatly helped satisfy the need of a people ravaged by a tyrant, helping to lift the gloom. With bishop and king, the Isa, bringer of both pax et bonum, gaudium et spes, caritas, fides et lumen gentium, clementia et veritas, was celebrated Christmas Day. The birth of flesh made caritas, black and white resolved from the gray, confusion through revelation. Walking with the heart. Yo, John, keep moving. We can't stay. I know. What's our destination? I can't think about that right now, Gear says with quick irritation. Neither exactly sure of how or why they came to have the heart, except it was thrown from the bow of a ship fast falling apart. After the shutdown of the Corps team was sent to depart across the lake. That was before what was perceived as Renfrey's fleet was fast approaching the lake shore when panic, utter and complete, exploded. Watching the dismay, the Corps team making their retreat amid the chaotic melee, crashing and then starting to sink, Gear and John could just stand and pray. With only mere seconds to think, the heart was tossed with reluctant demeanor and a nervous blink to Gear, who with a hesitant look caught it. "Take it to the west, the 51! Be vigilant! The 66 is not the best for educated boys to take, but it's the only way out west." Here now, unable to apply a brake to the actions engulfing all and any choices they can make. Any way they could turn, a wall graffitied with the heart was there. Of the 66 he'd heard tall tales. Indeed, he lived close to where it passed, but never ventured to it. Now, outside Mag City, where the 66 began, near up to their knees in bull scat from the gate where all the bulls stampeded through, they walked. "Come on, John, we can't wait around for the cows to come home," plucked Gear. "Someone's gonna checkmate us quick if we don't start to roam." "I know, I'm just scared. We're alone. I've not been baptized into Rome yet," laments John. "What? John, you own yourself. Just 'cause you ain't inside with Rome don't mean you stop. We're thrown into this thing. We must abide. Let that desire bring tomorrow for you. All those people just died for the core. If we stop, we throw their sacrifice, their loss and pain in a grave, unmarked and shallow." From the gray clouds came drops of rain. Visibly distraught, to the sky John looked, melting as the rain gently drizzled over his dry skin. Into the setting sun they walked as it peeked through the gray sky, a thin line of light with a spray of blue and white, purple, orange, and red, as the sun rises far away, just as some rise or lie to bed, walking or falling into dream where there mingles the live and dead, forever stitched into the seam of both space and time, unified in the theory grand, where the beam of Einstein's dream has never died, but radiates still from the source, proclaimed by the lone voice that cried from the desert wind with the force of the word, the source of all light, virgin born amidst mankind's course, through their history woven tight, together seeking veritas. Survival, each other we must fight, to gain and maintain libertas. Amongst our own goods we construct pro laetus et beatas. Scribed words and symbols help instruct and perpetuate truths from thought, etched in stone or temple construct, fortified against the onslaught of time and man, nature and war. Into this world Jesus was brought. Pantheons of gods men adore or detest, temples rising high, up from the steamy jungle floor, where humans survive as they vie daily for sustenance among wild cats and snakes, monkeys that cry from treetops, while bird and bug song emanate through the steamy air with the muted sound of a gong, vibrating with the Buddha's stare, deep within the pagoda's wall. Decorated with earthenware and gold, the Buddha's Aum chant calls forth the human's inner spirit from far beyond our mortal walls into eternity, where it seeks nirvana, to be empty of desire when the soul is lit by compassion's fire. It's to be at one with God, though Buddha knew not of Christ. He knew as the sea on which Vishnu floats, where there grew from his navel the lotus where Brahma sits. There would come into life another Buddha, somewhere, somewhen. For God is God of all, drawing humans from everywhere and every walk unto him. Call out and receive, accept his love. His birth is the light come for all, to free us from what God above outright forbids. His light helps show where our actions are lacking love, so each human can overthrow ego ends and journey outward, planning, waiting for tomorrow. Say, Gear, we've been walking toward the setting sun for days. How long are we going to keep walking forward? The core keepers said stay along the 66. You can't listen to everyone. That bunch was wrong about getting there. We'll fall in trouble on the 66 trail. We'll walk the side paths as often as we can. We're not going to bail ship or nothing. If we follow off a ways, there'll be more whitetail and such for food. If we lay low, we're less likely to be caught by. From Gear's satchel came a soft glow. John saw this and, perplexed, asked, "Why is your bag glowing, Gear?" Unsure what John meant, he looked. "Why is my bag glowing?" he queried. Not sure what caused this mysterious light, they cautiously opened the fur-lined bag. The heart was glowing bright. Somewhat familiar with these strange lights of modern tech, the heart's light was not a fright. They watched it change into a 3D projection from its flat surface, rearrange into a map with direction to find its destination. Lacking time for true reflection on their complete fascination with this thing, they observed the trace leading to their destination. The 66. Ah, crap! Gear's face expressed. The 66 was not the route he'd take. They would find base sorts there selling this, that, whatnot, and more. And the Muertans run vice crops on this trace. Down south, hot weather was the norm. Gear had begun this journey, sights fixedly set on a more northerly route. One suggestion from the heart, his bet on getting his way was called off. But Gear would not allow regret to rule the day. With a small cough, he acknowledged that if he fret about the route, all bets were off. Right there, he decided to let the heart guide them. He would be damned, though, to give in and simply let the thing think for him, so he slammed it back in his satchel and walked on, making sure the damn thing was crammed in there good. They soon walked upon a small town through which their route wound. They first saw a steeple, and John steered them toward it. Not a sound or sight of a human presence was observed anywhere around as they walked. Still, they felt a tense quality in the atmosphere. So Gear proceeded to commence breaking that tense spell with beer by entering a dingy fill. Once inside the fill, it was clear this place gave many a thrill with drink and dance and prostitute. Amazing how quick war could kill the life of an institute overnight. Cards and scarves once held by patrons now lie destitute of living bodies that compelled them to perform entertaining fun. Now behind the bar, Gear smelled a growler of beer, and, feigning disgust, told John he would not like it. Smiling, Gear began draining the beer, a thick stout, black hole-like, no color, caramelly foam, rising high and breaching the dike of the snifter's lip. This was home now, a hearty stout on a cold, cloudy day. Gear went for the foam, but John gently stopped him cold. "We have to bless this before we drink," John says to a disgruntled Gear. "Hold up your glass," John says. "Let us clink then, in nomine Patri et Filii." Gear, seeing John think what next came, interrupted, "Et Spiritus Sancti." "Amen," John finishes. "To us, John. Well met through M. Wayfarers walking on the 66. The modern's whole inheritance of silicon and quantum code on a long stroll we cannot possibly complete. But we'll walk into the wormhole, and any enemy we meet, may our minds they never beguile." John interjects, "God, let us meet kind souls, and let us always smile, knowing thou hold us in thy hand along this tough trail. Let us while away our time seeking to understand your mysteries. King, let this drink fill us with good mirth for you, and rob us not our power to think. Rather, let this drink elevate our souls, bringing us to the brink, a place where we can contemplate your love. Oh, dear Lord, bless this drink and all the hands that helped create it. A reminder of our link to your good bounty, Lord." "Good toast," says Gear. "Now can we please clink? My palate's dry. How about we roast someone next time? We need a laugh." "You're right. I offer this next toast to you and your recent maths gaffe, nearly sending the Corps into permanent shutdown." "Hey, don't laugh. You can't calculate your way through a subtraction field, let alone Einstein's gravity field." "You don't know that." "You still use a bone to count on," Gear comes back. What's that mean? It means you're back in the Stone Age with your maths. At that, John sat down. Well, I like words better. Cheers, John proclaims. But I say to that, maths brings many students to tears, lost in the mazes of numbers, while those who calculate through the years make it out of the maze and smile. Saying words are great, words are fun, but are limited in their style, and infinity within one. Numbers are the wonder with which nature speaks, rattled Gear. Are you done? John asked. I'll get you to switch to the abstract side, Gear enticed, sipping his brew. You have an itch for numbers. Well, yeah, but I'm spliced. I want to learn and understand in the worst way, but I've a glitch intuiting what maths demand. Symbols, equations, and the like. John sips at his brew. Cannot land in my mind, like there's a dike upon which waves of numbers break. I'd jump in, but may drown. The dike may be a grace for my own sake, M said, but don't give up too soon. Good things take work. God didn't make the earth, all the stars, and the moon in a wink. But he used maths, Gear said. Don't be so sure God's tune is set to numbers. Drink your beer. I know all M's sayings. God used words to communicate. Love, fear, obey. Language became confused when we built the Babel Tower because, again, humans abused our abilities and power. Wisdom 11:21 says God applied weight and measure to all things, the earth, moon, and sun. So words and numbers are bunk mates, concluded Gear. Not yet outdone, John spluttered. Yeah, but I thought weight and measures were relative, so revealed truth in words complicates things. M said Jesus came to show true humanity, birth, death, and love. God above came down below from heaven into this strange land where the garden's falling apart, while the works of the human hand build their wild dreams and tease apart mysteries. Each generation builds the dream until they depart, adding to civilization. We developed words. They're a sound with exact pronunciation. They express thoughts and objects found. But numbers are different. They are a language seemingly grounded in reality. Numbers say what words can't. They help to describe and manipulate an array of phenomena we transcribe as equations. They're absolute and unrevealed truth. They imbibe further with mirth, the destitute town forgotten. Gear starts a fire and then continues to dispute with John. You're trying to inquire how numbers and words are alike, but that is going to require another round. You're going to like this. Words and language form the base of reason and logic, just like numbers are the structural base to understanding how things work, and more, I'm sure. And you can trace their use into the muddy murk of humankind's primeval past, when, like you, they used bones to work out counting. Gear chuckles. John cast a glare, expressing a growing annoyance at being harassed. Well, you still think that not knowing if there's a God is a wise choice. Well, I still don't see you showing me proofs for God, said Gear, his voice betraying he was having fun. Oh, you would still make the same choice if I did prove it. Yeah, you won on that one, concedes Gear. I'd change for no one, not even the Son of God were he here. Would you change if I proved otherwise? John thought over a sip. I would not change. I have faith, and any proof that you taught would in time be proven as wrong. All right. Looks like we're caught around a circle with a strong gravity, Gear concludes. Oh yeah? What is its gravity? If you're wrong, next round's on you, John says. Okay, you're on, wise guy. Multiply G by any mass. Divide by, say, Planck's length as diameter. G times any mass you could conceive times r hat, then you'll quickly see that your eyes can never perceive what your circle contains because it's impossible to receive that which cannot escape the laws of reality. The Schwarzschild radius locks you in its jaws of one of the most crazy wild things ever in the universe that has forever beguiled everyone who dared to immerse themselves into pure mystery. Now, I know my answer is terse, but you can never refute me because you've entered the unknown realm of infinite gravity. Confused, John concedes with a groan, then remarks, Okay, I get it. Understanding this does not loan itself to those without a bit of background, so Gear knows John does not get a thing. I must admit, this brew has given me a buzz, Gear says. I know, this black hole talk is turning my brain to fuzz, adds John. I wish I had some chalk, comments Gear. Might find some at church, John suggests. All right then, let's walk. With a fresh brew, they go and search for some chalk. Outside, the waxing crescent moon glows soft from its perch, nestled up with earth, relaxing around their bright star's glowing fire. I tell ya, this walk is taxing. Maybe there's someone we could hire to take this thing for us out west. Our lives have been nothing but dire ever since Renfrey's greed possessed our lives. Worst of all, we lost M. Damn it. Now this stupid quest. For who? For what? Is it for them? Mag City? Hell, John, wish I knew. All of this murderous mayhem wears me out. I'm just about through. Crap. I need some chalk yesterday. This is a hurt I never knew, John comes forth. When I ran away into this land after that boy, I fell into utter dismay. But I think, having chased that boy, I did something without regard for myself. I chased a decoy, I think. I tried and tried so hard to find him, but I never did. He didn't need my help. My guard was down for that instant. I hid my care so long I think it burst out. For so long I kept a lid on the kettle. But I had thirst for the hot brew steeping inside. I wanted to drink in the worst way. I always felt I must hide it. But in that instant, I ran. I had to. Something would have died in me for the worst. So I ran and I cried. I broke through the fence that kept me from being the man that I am. I lost all pretense. I felt authentic. I could see things as they were. M helped make sense of this. When I saw that boy flee, I wanted to stop him and bring him back where I was, the safety of the kingdom. But that land's king was bad. I knew he was not good deep inside me. So my chasing of that young boy into the wood was my final chance to escape the life that I knew was not good. My friends did vice crop and they jape me for not joining them. They joke about doing bad things like rape and murder, and they would invoke Muerte to help them achieve status among those who wore the cloak of Renfrey. I think I would leave too, related Gear. And I did. I was compelled. Now I believe there's no way I could have rid myself from there. It wasn't chance that I saw that boy. I was amid death and quickly losing my stance against it. I wanted to give in. That day I planned to. A glance saved me. And now I truly live. It's funny, such thoughts were expunged from talk. No one would ever give thought or word one. Nobody plunged the depths of life and its meaning. I felt no worth. Life there was grunged. And she showed me love and meaning. Yeah, John, Em was a living saint. I admit she gave me meaning, too. She helped me see that it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. I see the picture, not the paint, because of Em. How'd you do it? What made you never try the vice? Inquired Gear. Well, I was hit by something. Huh? Well, it's not nice, John responded. Well, I was splashed by blood at a games night. Not dice games, but games where people were dashed to bits. It was my first games night where I sat front row. He was gashed from the whips and chains that held him tight. William Carter, I remember. He held something fixed in his sight, a warm glowing like a fire ember. He was calm and sure, filled with peace as they started to dismember him, taken apart piece by piece. That night my friends first tried the vice at a celly that did not cease all night long. It changed them, the vice. As we left the games, a stranger bumped into me, spoke soft advice. That blood on you was a danger. You're well washed in the blood of Christ. I didn't know what the danger was because I was still enticed by the game's brutal allure, a lust for blood. I never heard of Christ, but it spooked me. I thought I must go home. I left my friends that night. I felt then a blooming disgust. Then on, I avoided games night. I'm so sorry, John. I had no idea you had such a blight before. Damn, John. Well, just know you're my friend, Gear smiles. Thank you, Gear. I need one. If I did not go after him, I wouldn't be here. It was a crucial turning point. Kadesh Barnea. It's so clear now. I was blind from that viewpoint. God granted me a saving grace. He used my choice to there anoint me with his grace, to then displace my darkness with light. By the splash of blood, God was able to place in me love and faith. Just a dash was all it took for me to run with it. Life without it was trash. It was springtime without the sun. I have purpose now and meaning. I want to get to know God's Son, confesses John as he's leaning against the church's wood siding, while Earth continues careening, putting the stars into hiding, spinning the two tomorrow where their future is residing. Even as the skies fill with snow, hiding the stars, hiding the moon. Hey, John, what do you say? Let's go inside. I need that chalk right soon to go find me on a chalkboard. Mag City gets its aid. Mag City was bestowed a boon in the form of love, not a sword. Foreigners came from far away to celebrate one who is adored by two who worship the one same God. In this joyous time they love each other. They let not the name of God prevent them from true love. Ashoka and Fatima led their crews the way of Noah's dove. Tend the sick and bury the dead while comforting those who sorrow and putting little kids to bed. Freely they give, they don't borrow to their fellows, and we receive humbly, hoping that tomorrow is where the other will perceive that truth is love and peace our hope, and in Yahweh we all believe.